everybody! I went curly, kind of wavy actually, with my hair today, so that's that. I'm not entirely sure how I feel about it. It's like I got ends going every which direction. I'm just not used to seeing my hair this way, but I think I like it. So anyway, we'll move on to the favorites, and in this video, it's really like I've got the beauty stuff to talk about, but also some sort of Christmassy things, some random, really cheap, really good finds that I had from Dollar Tree, and I thought I might just lump them into this video to show you how I integrated those into my decor. Like I said in the last video, I was inspired when I saw Lip Gloss Leslie go out and buy a bunch of cool stuff from Dollar Tree, so that's what I did too. But for the makeup first, okay, this little thing. Look how old school this looks. I mean, does a product look much more old school than that? It's the Brambleberry Rose lip balm from Rosebud Perfume Company. I believe this is the same brand that makes like the Rosebud salve that's maybe a little more well-known and popular. But this scent is really fantastic, and I don't know how I ever, like, it just kind of got back in a drawer and I wasn't reaching for it for a while, but I always like putting some kind of balm on my lips while like I'm applying my moisturizer, and something can sit on there while I'm applying most of my makeup, and then by the time I get to lips, everything's nicely hydrated, right? Well, this scent, I can't even explain. It's like a little bit berry, a little bit rose, a little bit bramble, whatever that is. I feel like some scents do hit me a little bit differently these days. In pregnancy, I think when I land on something I really like, I absolutely love it. And plus, it looks like something that you just plucked off your great-grandma's vanity. So there you go. Traveled recently for Thanksgiving, and I don't know about you guys, but when you take makeup with you somewhere, obviously you're not taking like your entire collection. Certain things are getting handpicked to go with you on a trip. And do you ever feel like you really get a chance to officially bond with a product when you travel with it? You know, it's like you didn't have all the options in the world, so that was the thing you were kind of continuously using. And so for me, I definitely took my IT Cosmetics Most Wished For palette, and I know I have mentioned this in a couple of other videos, so I don't like feeling like I spend a long time talking at length about stuff in a favorites video when I know I've mentioned it quite a bit in other videos. Like, I don't want to just bore you to tears with the same exact topics. At the same time, I gotta remind myself not everybody watches every video. You should, but you don't. No, just kidding. But no, really, watch every video. This is my IT Cosmetics Most Wished For palette. I'm in a strange mood today, so let's just keep it going. But there are certain elements of this palette that I feel like I really got a ton of use out of, just really exceptionally enjoyed. So I want to point those out for you. Number one, this highlight. The powder highlight in particular. I do like layering the powder and the cream, but this powder highlight I feel like is so soft and beautiful, and it's surprising. It can sneak up on you. Like when you go back for like swipe number 2, you've done your first application, you go back for a little bit more, and then you add, it's like, wow, that built up quite a bit. So I love that highlight. I've also been absolutely head over heels for the blushes. Fantastic blushes in this palette. I'm wearing a combination of these two today. This peachy one has a little bit of shimmer. These other two are matte. One is kind of pink and one is a bit more plummy. And this is probably the one I've overall worn the most, so today I wanted to combine the other two. But I love them all. There's also lip stuff in that drawer as well. But then the other superstar standout while I was traveling, and I'm wearing this again today, this eyeshadow right here. This is so, so beautiful. I gotta give you like a legit swatch of this so you can take it all in. How's that for some metallic lilac taupe action going on there? This is such a good like one shadow look. I'm wearing it today all over the lid, buffed up into the crease, smudged on my lower lash line. The only additional shadow I'm wearing today is a little of the black, just because I smudged that on the outer part of the lower lash line too. But otherwise, like, this shadow is the star of the show, and I think it's so, so pretty. There are many pretty shadows in this palette. You know, there's warmer colors, there's nice mattes and everything, but I've found that more than a few times when I've just wanted a quick look, that shade is a really easy go-to because it can coordinate so well with like whatever your lip might be. It's got kind of a pretty shine to it. It's a little bit different than than just some of your standard neutrals. So anyway, just wanted to point out the studs of this palette. Just wanted to give a mention to like my most used foundations and concealers as of late. I've been working in, I feel like, quite a few foundations, but the couple that I have been enjoying the most, the Fiona Styles Luminous Finish Foundation Concentrate in 04. You can see that in action in my last Get Ready With Me. I use this. I just love the finish. I love the lightweight feel, but yet it covers an unexpected amount of coverage. So I've been enjoying that, getting a lot of use out of it. And then my dang Dream Matte Mousse, which is one of those products, I've said it before, it's like, that's a product of the olden days. Something we may have reached for like in high school, and I swear the formula is creamier now than it was then. Still super mousse-like and everything, but I just like dabbing that around my skin. And then the Beauty Blender. That's maybe one of the biggest game changers, is to blend this stuff out with the Beauty Blender, and it looks so smooth and so nice. So just depending on how I feel on a given day, I'll bounce back between, you know, a liquid and maybe that Dream Matte Mousse. And then the concealer, the Anastasia concealer. I'm telling you guys, if you are a dry skin person, a normal skin person even, or if you would even classify yourself as like a combo skin person, but you feel like you've got concerns about the under eyes starting to get really dry on you these days, this would be a nice concealer to work with. I like the way Benefit Erase Paste has so much richness to the texture, and I know I've talked about this like zillions of times, so I'm not gonna harp on it anymore. But this has such nice coverage. It offers so much moisture back to the skin. 2.5 is still working for me, although I keep saying I'm gonna get a lighter shade, but as long as this works, I'm gonna keep using it. But it is coverage, it is consistency, and it is like leaving you with a very, I think, fresh look to an area that can sometimes look very crepey and dry. Drugstore lip finds, I have just been really enjoying these Revlon Ultra HD newly repackaged lipsticks. They're like the skinny lipsticks, and I've got two. I've got this one I'm holding here called HD Desert. I've also got HD Vineyard, which is a little bit more of a soft berry color, and I love the shine. I love the feel. There's quite a strong, like, sort of tropical cocktail type scent that I always pick up on when I use these, but I really enjoy them. I think in the haul where I talked about these, I referred to these as the second coming of lip butters, because now lip butters have kind of been wiped off of Revlon's lip map for whatever reason, and I think these are sort of replacing that consistency, you know, very balm-like, but still offering quite a bit of color, and they do have a nice shade range. And what was so funny is the other day I was using this little product, very similar format from Flower Beauty. This is one of their Hydra Silks, and this particular shade in Rose Silk has always been, you know, kind of an easy go-to. This product is frequently in the rotation. It's in the purse rotation. It's just out there a lot for me. And I was using it the other day, and I'm like, I just love this color so much, and then I'm like, wait, isn't this darn near identical to the HD Desert from Revlon? And they do have such a similar finish, similar feel. These two tones happen to be like almost dupes for one another. In fact, if you're just curious, I'll swatch them both side by side here for you. Okay, that's the Revlon, that's the Flower Beauty. I do feel like in general the Flower ones give off like a little more shine, but they do have a really similar feel. But don't you just want to kick yourself? Like, this happens to you guys, right? Where you're like, oh, I love this shade and I love this shade, and you actually start looking at them and you're like, they're the same shade. There's a reason, you know, why I loved them both. But I would say overall, Revlon's line, the HD, the Ultra HDs, there's a better shade selection happening overall there. There's more to choose from. But I just thought I'd share that because I love both of those products. I think they have a great formula in each, but those two happen to be like the same exact color. This is the Wild Hair. It's actually a wild little chunk of hairs, a tuft, if you will. Just kind of poking out. I'm just gonna let it do what it wants. Scent I am loving is from Clean, and it's part of that little fragrance sampler, the rollerball sampler, and it's the one called Skin. And this one is, it's so good. Don't get me wrong, I really enjoy the ones that make me think of Snuggle dryer sheets and fresh air and clean water and all those things, but this one makes me think of, I don't know, it makes me feel pretty. It makes me feel like a little bit spicier than those, even though it's not like hardcore, spicy, heavy perfume. I would say there's more of a clearly feminine vibe to this one. When you smell it, Maybe there's just a hint more floral, a hint more depth, but at the same time, very hard to put your finger on. Usually the scents that I really, really like, they're hard for me to describe clearly to you because they're just a little bit out there. But I love the rollerball set in general because they are so easy to travel with. You can pop them in your bag and they don't take up a lot of room. And I'm not concerned about like the cap easily popping off and then the little sprayer getting pressed down by something else. You know, this twists on nice and tight, so yay. And then another little thing that I am trying to get more use out of in my collection are my Visart eyeshadows. And let me tell you, it's a pleasure to get back into those because I've been using a lot of different palettes lately, and then I'm like, you know, I want to use some things that I have that have just not been getting enough love and things that I spent a good chunk of money on, so I should be using them. One of those things, this little guy, this is one of their, Theory palettes, and this is the one in Minx. And I got this because I still haven't pulled the trigger on Visart's neutral matte palette, but here you get 3 neutral mattes. So I'm like, okay, those look like a nice way to try some of those basics. And then these gorgeous shimmers right here as well. Now I already do have the Sultry Muse palette, which I love, and I've checked because a couple of these I thought, are those like the same shadows as what's in here? And they're not. But I took this with me when I was traveling also, and I've just used it here at home quite a bit lately. The pans do come out, by the way. Look at that. Very easily just lift out. If you'd like to load up a different palette with a bunch of these, you totally could. But I just think it's cool because I've got my easiest matte neutral look ever here with the cream and the medium brown, like those two. It's no-brainer, easy. And then this copper is just outstanding. This shade here, this kind of rosy but a little bit of brown in it. Aren't those just yummy? This was the palette I wore when I went to see Carrie Underwood at the Grand Ole Opry. That was a while ago, and I love my eye look that night, but the more I use this, the more I love it. So if you're looking for a little splurge, or maybe trying to add something to your gift list, you might think about that. That's a really nice way to sample both Visart's shimmers and mattes because they tend to be split up in their larger palettes. Like Sultry Muse is pretty much all like shimmery / satin finishes, and then they do their fully matte palettes, but these combo palettes are really cool. Now I've got a really random holiday beverage to tell you about. This is something that goes in your Keurig if you have one of those, and I had picked this up when I was at CVS, and I just saw that they had, I think they might have been marked down a couple bucks, but they're their little apple cider cups, and it may be just the store brand that CVS sells. I wasn't really familiar with it. It wasn't like that Green Mountain organic kind though. I've had that before, it's good, but I feel like this kind that I've got now is even more flavorful, like a little more spicy perhaps, and it's just great. Great warm apple cider. Even when I fill it up on the largest setting, like for a big cup of it, hold on, I'm gonna sneeze. Even when I use the largest amount possible, it doesn't taste watered down, and I've noticed that sometimes happening with beverages other than coffee. So that stuff is really good. Also, little like Advent Christmas countdown type things. Belle got the cutest thing from my parents. We did early Christmas with them because I'm not really going to be traveling around Christmas time because it'll be so close to the due date. So we did gifts then, and she got this neat little thing it's from Melissa and Doug, and you can get this, gosh, I think Toys R Us sells it. You can probably find it on Amazon, but it's a little tree cutout, and there's a tray on the bottom, and that tray holds all these itty bitty magnetic ornaments. Well, they're not teeny tiny, like your kid's not gonna swallow one, but every day leading up to Christmas, you add one of those ornaments onto the tree, and then on Christmas Day, there's a little star that goes on top. So I think that's a fun, like, visual way to show a young child, you know, like, we're getting closer to Christmas. Yay, it's cute. It's just so adorable. And then I want to tell you about some of my cheap decor that I've gotten from both Five Below and Dollar Tree. Probably my favorite find from Dollar Tree are these red glittery bows. They have twist ties on them, and they are so easy to just stick into whatever you got. You could put them on your Christmas tree, you could put them on your garland, but they're glittery and they're beautiful. I was kind of playing with a few different places where I thought I might want to put them in my house, and then I settled on attaching them to like kind of every other wraparound of my garland down the staircase, and they add so much pizzazz there. I think they're so cute. They come in 2 packs, and they do have a few different styles. I've got a slightly different, like more sort of woven-y looking style red bow that will probably just end up going on the Christmas tree if I can't find anywhere else for them, but I thought that was so cute. And then ornament-wise, they really did have some cute $1 ornaments, these kind of jumbo-sized bells that hang and have a little bow type thing on them there and a little bit of garland mixed in. Those are cute. I got the prettiest glittery reindeer, golden reindeer. I've got on our big tree, we do have a lot of like kind of personal, sentimental ornaments that we've had over the years on there, but mixed in with that is a lot of red and gold. Anything that's just kind of random that I put on that tree, I keep it red and gold. So it is sort of a color themed tree, but it's got other things mixed in. And then from Five Below, they had some cute $1 ornaments as well. They had a whole section of $1 decor. And so they had cute little penguins, like little chubby penguins that you could put on there. And Belle really likes those, so I got 2 of them. And they had the most precious cupcake ornaments. So beautiful. Like they really look charming on the tree. But it's just fun to find stuff like that. I always feel like, oh, there's always room for one more ornament, right? So especially when it's $1, I can definitely make room for that ornament. But I think that wraps up my favorites for the month of November. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you liked it. I hope you enjoyed the little bit of randomness I tossed in. But thanks again. I hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you soon. Bye.